What's up, guys? Today I wanted to go through my 2024 sketchbook, kind of talk about how the year went, and show you the process of making my brand new cover for 2025. You know, I've been making these kind of custom painted covers for a while, but this time I really wanted to step it up. I wanted to make it super cool, so I was super proud of looking at it all year long. So a little bit of background on this. Why do I care so much about my sketchbook cover? You know what I mean? So I try to fill up a whole sketchbook every year, every nook and cranny. Not just because I like seeing every page covered completely, but because it kind of forces me to go back, add to those unfinished pages, and experiment a little more with some ideas I was having. Not sure if that's the best practice, but you know, it works for me. One of my favorite things about my sketchbooks is looking back on my old ones. It's cool to see my progress, but it's also kind of a time capsule. Even if the page isn't perfect, it still reminds me of what I was doing or how I was feeling that day. It's kind of like a visual diary without the pressure of making everything look perfect. Some pages are just random doodles, some are more serious and refined, and others are just there because I needed to get something on paper, make myself laugh. You know, I try to draw every day. Sometimes I go really strong for a month straight. Other times I barely pick up a pen for 2 weeks. It's not always consistent, but having that daily task of draw every day gives me at least one thing to do and focus on every day. And that said, I'm really happy with how my 2024 sketchbook turned out. I feel like I made a lot of progress this year, and flipping through it just makes me really excited to do more. The one thing I wasn't too happy about with this sketchbook was the cover. Now, it's not bad, it's just not as cool as I wanted it to be, and since the cover sets the tone for the entire book, I wanted to plan something out that I'd be a little more proud of looking at all year long. This time, I went with a nice, fancy, leather-backed Canson XL Mixed Media sketchbook, my favorite sketchbook. I am not sponsored, but Canson, if you want to send me a sketchbook, hit me up. I freaking love these things. I went with this leather-backed instead of the usual cardboard because it gives me a bit of an upgrade, but it also kind of gives me a little bit more pressure because now I have to make this cover look really stinking good. So, the design, right? What the hell do I want this sketchbook to look like? My first kind of inspiration was vintage 1950s, 1960s horror comics. It's kind of niche, but I think it's a cool style. It's a cool aesthetic. And so that was my main inspiration. I wanted something bold and colorful with my dark and eerie vibe. And as the centerpiece, I wanted to do a wizard, a badass wizard with a big old crystal ball. I just think that shit's awesome. Whenever I'm just sitting around doing nothing, I'm like, man, I wish I was a fucking wizard right now. I wish I could be casting spells and making potions. You know what I mean? So I sketched out this cool wizard. I used a lot of references from some older comics to kind of get that styling down, that just comic booky graphic styling. I sketched it out on a page from my 2024 sketchbook, which kind of felt like a nice little full circle moment, I don't know. And once I had this sketch down, I colored it with my favorite Copic markers and lined it out with some Micron pens, also my favorite. They're my go-tos. And after I got that completed, I cut it out with an X-Acto knife, made sure I was real careful, so I was just left with the wizard and the ball, and it was ready to be put onto the cover. But I have nothing on my cover. So since I was painting directly onto the leather, I had to sand it down first so that the paint would actually stick to it because it was really slick. I used like 100 grit sandpaper, enough to kind of rough it up and give it some texture, but also make it primed and ready for paint. And then I primed it with matte Mod Podge and white acrylic paint, mixed together the magic potion. And then once that was all good and dandy, I went in with my purple Posca pen, the fat tip boy. Took a couple of layers to make it opaque, and also, unfortunately, my purple Posca pen ran out of paint. I love this pen, I've used it so much, and it finally kicked the bucket. So rest in peace, purple Posca pen. You'll be missed. For the background, I wanted to make it seem like the wizard was in his tower, so I went with that nice big fat castle brick pattern. I made sure I used a ruler to keep it all clean and symmetrical and straight, and then I lined the bricks with a black, added some shadows in between the bricks to give it better contrast, and then I added some pink highlights, really boost the contrast, and kind of give it more of my graphic, colorful style. And to kind of break up the monotony of the bricks and balance out the wizard, I added a big old like prison castle window with bars on it because it looks cool. I filled that in with yellow so it looks like the sun is coming through the window. So now that that was done, it was time to glue the wizard in place so I could add some details to the background around the wizard to kind of blend him in. To glue him, I just used some classic good old Elmer's glue and then put some books on top of it while it was drying so it wouldn't peel up. And then once that was in, I added some little squiggles around the ball with some Posca pens. I added some bats outside the window so it looked like there's like bats flying around the tower. That was actually a suggestion from my girlfriend, so shout out to Katie. Thank you for that suggestion. And then at the bottom I added like a little silhouette of a rat coming out of like a little crack in the bricks. And finally I added some graffiti from a goblin because in my headcanon goblins and wizards are constantly beefing and fucking with each other. And finally, to really tie it all together, I wanted to do a big squiggly text title and then like a little 10-cent sticker in the corner to make it look like, you know, it's actually a comic and it's for sale. So that was fun. I used yellow again because it really contrasts with the purple. I really like how it turned out. I think it kind of adds to like the narrative of it. Now with that, it is done. It's got that nice, shiny, beautiful finish on it. It's got some texture from the sanding. It's got nice, vibrant colors. It's got this badass, detailed wizard done in my style. And I am super duper happy with the result. It's been a couple months since I filmed this video, and I started this. I did this back in January, like the very beginning of the year. And then I kind of got distracted with school and work and all that other BS. But yeah, that's it. Thank you so much for watching this video. I really appreciate it. I wanted to try the long form content. I've always wanted to make YouTube videos about this, but I've never really just bit the bullet and committed to it. I've been focused more on the short form stuff recently, which I'm still doing. I just wanted to try this because I like making videos. So if you enjoyed it, do all the things, leave a comment, like it. You're probably one of my friends or family members, most likely. And a special shout out to you. If it wasn't for you guys, I seriously wouldn't have committed to this as much as I have, and truly and even attempt drawing stupid little cartoons my actual career. But it feels more and more possible with your guys' support, and I seriously love you guys so much for that. Seriously. But again, thanks for watching this video. Thanks for your support. That's it for this one. Thanks for watching, and I'll see ya next time. Bye!